Hello, beautiful humans. Hello, 2023. Welcome to this whole new year. You guys, we have a full year ahead of us. How exciting is this? If you are glad 2022 is over, great. You have a whole new year to plan. If you had the best of intentions for 2022 and they didn't come to fruition, don't worry about it. We've got another full year. And while we don't know what's ahead of us in this year, we certainly know that the one thing we can be full in control of is our mind, our attitude. So I welcome you to join this year with the best attitude, knowing that within you are all the resources you truly, really need to succeed, to make it to your goals, to make of this year a wonderful year. I am of the theory that there are no failures, they're either wins or lessons. And if this year you can think that way, you will end the year feeling really powerful because you either will have lots of wins to celebrate or a lot of really good lessons. Somebody emailed me just the other day that she lost $10,000 in an investment that she did. And I asked her to list all the things that she learned by having made that investment. And her list was longer than the money she would have received had her investment paid her. And I told her, it's not really a loss. You just paid $10,000 to learn all these lessons. Raise your hand if you paid lots of money, or sometimes with your own skin, you've paid in emotions to learn great lessons. My hand is high up. I've always shared my experience with one of my first business coaches, which cost me an arm and a leg. And it was such a disappointment. She did not deliver with any of the things she promised. And you know what? I was very tempted to think that I lost my investment, but I didn't because I learned a lot. I learned a lot about the type of coach I wanted to be, how I wanted to market my own program so that I always deliver what I said I was going to. It taught me a whole bunch about integrity. I met the best people in this program that to this date I'm friends with. So all in all, it was really not a loss. I gained so much from it. All right, let's dive into today's episode. This is episode 178, and it is 2022 in review. If you're new to me, you don't know this, but every year I sort of start my year by thinking of what did I learn last year? And I bring forward these lessons. I really love reflecting. To me, self-reflection is one of the greatest ways to add value to my life. And one of the reasons I love having this podcast is because I get to share with you my reflections. And I find so much value when people share with me the reflections. I love it. That's why I have mentors. I want to hear from them, the reflections, because they normally think in ways I don't. So it's so refreshing. So this is my 2022 year in review. These are things I learned. And I want to highlight that today, a year ago, I got an incredibly scary call. My husband had gone skiing with my cousins who were visiting from out of town. I'm Colombian, so they are Colombian. They were visiting. They love skiing. They don't live in a place with snow. They were here. We went to a cottage and they went out skiing. I stayed with my son and my cousin's wife at home. And shortly after they left, maybe at around lunchtime, my cousin had called my phone several times, didn't get a hold of me, finally called his wife. She puts me on the phone and he says to me, there has been an accident and we don't know if Chris is okay. Legit, the worst words anybody can hear on the phone about their spouse or anybody that you care about or anybody. And my heart just dropped. I'm like, what do you mean? What kind of accident? He explained to me Chris had attempted to do a jump. Why would he have thought that was a good idea? Is beyond me, but he thought it was a good idea to make a big jump while skiing. to show off the boys, and he landed Curly on his head. And he was unconscious at the time I was on this call, but he assured me the paramedics were taking care of him and that they were going to take him to the nearest hospital. That's how I started my year, January 2nd of 2022. And I found it within myself to just have so much serenity and calm myself down. Now that I think about it, I get kind of emotional because, my God, this could have gone in such a different way than it did. But I immediately closed my eyes and I just decided to believe that all was going to be okay. And all was okay. He did have severe injuries, but it could have been worse. And most importantly, he could not be here today. And he's here today. So I am forever grateful for that. So some of you would have started your year with that accident thinking this is going to be a really bad year. And it did cross my mind. But my word of last year, my intention for 2022 was to be dedicated to my work, dedicated to my word, dedicated to my family. And I truly started my year by having to dedicate myself to my husband, who was going to need a lot of support for a while. He couldn't see properly from one of his eyes. His ribs were broken. So he was no help. He was no help. And he, in fact, needed me to be there for him. And I was there. And so anyways, all of that to say that the year gave me exactly what I asked for, which was dedication. And so if you haven't yet, I want you to start thinking about what is your main intention for this new year? And if you had to put it into a word that would remind you, that will guide you, what would that word be? Think of it. All of my clients get to decide on their word for the year. This year last year I started it earlier. I started asking them to think about it in November. And so they've started this process of thinking about their 2023 word. I will share with you mine, but first I'm going to share with you what I've learned in 2022. And I've learned many things. I picked a few. We don't want to be here forever. I know you've got places to be, things to do, and if anything, I just think it's important to hear what other people learn so that you learn from those same things. But ideally, you stop after this episode and you think to yourself, okay, what is my 2022 in review? What did I learn? And take note. Maybe share them with somebody else, as well as share this episode with somebody else if you find it helpful. So the first thing I learned, and I didn't learn that, I was reminded of it. And I was reminded of it throughout the year. Life is fragile, right? All is well until it's not. And sometimes we seem to be so surprised. But how come do I have allergies to this food if I've eaten it all my life? Impossible. Well, all is well until it isn't. So my husband accident, my dad also had some severe health issues that came out of nowhere, like all health conditions. We're like, but some we kind of feel that we can see them coming. Some are just like an accident. They just happen. And I really feel that this past year wanted to remind me of the fragility of life, and equally that this moment is really what matters most. This moment. And I feel that 2022 was full of that reminder for me, that what really matters is this moment. And I've gained a lot of weight in 2022, not by choice, but my hormones have been all over the place. And that's been one of the side effects. And I've accepted that. And I've embraced that. And I've showed up in all my photos. And I've allowed everybody to take the photo and to publish it if they needed to, and to save it and to print it. Because this moment is all it matters. I don't know what tomorrow holds. So if today I'm in perfect health, I'm here, I am going to smile for that photo. I am going to walk the extra mile and visit my parents. I am going to call my brothers. I am going to invite my friends over for a Christmas get together. I am going to make weekly plans with my friend to go to yoga, because this moment is all I've got. So for me, that was a huge lesson of 2022, or a huge reminder. Like, I can't say it's a lesson. It's not like I just learned this, like the other points. This was more of a reminder of how fragile life is, how fast things can change, which reminded me that the most important goal will always be my present moment. How can I be most present here today? How can I make my life more fulfilling for this one moment today, right? Like, so even choosing my thoughts for the day, choosing my morning, like we're on vacation right now, but when we're back in the routine and mornings are like hectic and I want to have my own time. My husband wants to have his own time. Mateo wants to have his own time. We're all we're competing for our own time. And sometimes they clash and we jump into autopilot and we're like the rush, the time, the things, instead of like thinking intentionally, but how do I want this morning routine to feel for me? And how can I be more present? So I have intentionally disconnected a lot from social media. If you guys follow me on Instagram, you've noticed that my stories are hardly with me in it. Or as I used to be there every morning. I used to offer for my CEOs constant communication through WhatsApp or Voxer. I've intentionally discontinued that this year, increased our calls a month, and they have access to me 24/7 via email. But I have decided that this moment is far more important than any distraction. And so I am intentionally making decisions to allow myself to be more present in the moment, like to look into the eyes of my kid when we're having supper, or into the eyes of my husband while we're having a conversations. I have decided to stop some of the distractions with my mind, thinking about 5 years from now, 2 years from now, and really coming back to this moment and really embracing it. So that's been one of the greatest reminders of 2022. Thank you, 2022, for that reminder. Obviously didn't come without some pains and adjustments, and yet so much gratitude because my dad is here, he's in good health and he's recovering, because my husband is here, because I am here, despite health issues I've also had this past year. And yeah, it's a good thing, right? It's a good thing to be in the moment. So that's one of the lessons I wanted to share. I also feel 2022 was huge for me in terms of learning that investing in myself makes me more responsible for my own results. Like since I became self-employed 7 years ago, by the way, Olga's Way turned out 7 in 2022, my favorite number. So that's definitely something to share and celebrate. If you're having coffee right now, cheer to me with your coffee, toast. If you're having wine, same thing, water. Hey, let's toast 70 years of Olga's Way being in business. Yoo-hoo. I'm obviously having coffee, so I just took a sip of my coffee. Okay. So I found investing in myself since I became self-employed has been a necessity. Is what people in business do. They invest in themselves. They invest in their business. They invest in their product. They invest in their clients. It was a whole new thing for me 7 years ago, but I became used to it. Okay, I get to invest in myself. You take risks. You put your money, your mind, your resources in places, and you hope for the best. What I hadn't fully learned that became really very evident for me, and I actually saw it on my clients. I raised my price a little bit in last year, the end of 2022. And I noticed the hesitation of some people investing. And they were having a lot of mental drama, like I did investing in myself last year. And I came to the conclusion that when I made the biggest investment I've made to date on myself, on my mind, with my life coach, with my business coach, I realized that the shift that happened by making that investment is that I had to answer to myself. I wasn't just saying, hey, I'm going to invest this couple of $1,000 here. And if it works, great. But if it doesn't, I had like a really mediocre attitude with investments before. And I hadn't noticed until 2022, where I kind of gave 50% of my results to the specialist at hand that I was hiring, wherever I was investing, and I will grab the other 50% as my own. But I've realized that when you invest in yourself from a place of discomfort, when you think like, oh my God, this is too much money, this is out of the comfort zone for me. I don't know if I, for example, don't invest yet in stocks, or I did last year, and they went to, we've lost so much money, and I want to like never invest in stocks ever again. And my husband reminds me that's a long-term investment. You just have to grow tolerance to see the money go down and then up again. We will see this come back to us, in some time. You have to stay strong. You have to be able to like feel all the discomfort and still remain committed to your investment. When you do things that make you feel like uncomfortable, that you're investing in yourself, like maybe for one of my clients was with the dentist, right? Like spending a lot of money in a treatment, dental treatment, and feeling all those feelings, and yet letting her self-invest anyways. What happens then is that we become far more engaged and responsible for our end results. So I encourage you to think of investing in yourself in any way that you think of investing in yourself. Not what feels pretty easy, but what feels challenging, what feels a level of discomfort that makes you want to puke a little bit. I had one of my clients join Being the CEO of Your Own Life, which, by the way, you can still apply. It's not too late. Head over to the show notes. You will see apply for Being the CEO of Your Own Life. We start next week. So there you go. You have time. But one of my clients said she felt like puking before investing. And I'm like, that's how you know. That's how you know that you're pushing yourself to saying, shit, now I'm responsible for this. Also, too easy to pass on the responsibility to somebody else. This course will make me great in computer science because it says it will. And so I'm just going to, it seems easy. I know how to do this. I'm going to do it that way. But when you feel like, oh my God, I'm going to have to make this work for me. This is so out of my comfort zone. I don't know the first thing about programming. So how am I going to do this course? You don't have skin in the game, if you know what I mean. Well, that happened to me this year. That's one of my greatest lessons of 2022 is that investing in yourself makes you more responsible for your results. You're not just saying, hey, doctor, make my health better, right? In Canada, we get free health. But when we have to pay for something, we're like, all right, I'm going to make this work for me. Okay. So that was one of my lessons. And I hope you take it. I don't know what you've noticed about investing in yourself, but it is not easy because we're not used to investing in ourselves. We're used to putting money anywhere else. And sometimes we see investing in ourselves as spending money, which is not the same. It's going to give you rewards. I also learned that the more I can surround myself by powerful information, the better my brain works. And I have to thank the Life School founder for this. She said, this is a woman who owns a school of life coaching. She said that one of the reasons she feels she's so successful because she makes a lot of money is because she spends a lot of her time listening to audiobooks. And that really spoke to me. I'm like, yeah, I wonder what would happen to me if I expose my brain to more powerful information, books or podcasts or people with information. And so I put it to test and it was incredible, you guys. Especially towards the end of last year, I joined the gym. You feel proud of for me? You should. This was a big move for me. And I've been really committed and really consistent attending the gym. And one of the reasons I love it is because this is when I get to listen to my ebooks. So by the way, if you guys own an iPhone, you have an app called Books, and you can set in there goals for yourself for the week or for the day. And so I've set myself the weekly goals to reading so many pages or so many books. And I found that incredibly motivating. Not only that, but also when I started noticing what happened to my brain. The more I utilize dead time or spaces in my life to connect my brain to powerful information, the better my brain works. It's incredible. My brain is giving me so many ideas. I feel so calm. I feel so connected to my purpose. I feel so powerful in ways I hadn't before because I'm utilizing so much of my time to connect my brain intentionally to information I enjoy, to information I find fascinating, to educating myself, to concepts that I find bring power to my thinking. And so this has shifted the level of conversations I'm having, not only with my family and friends, my husband, within my coaching calls, is giving me great insights and ideas. Reading books, like reading one powerful book, they mentioned maybe that they read a book and then I write it down and then I read that book. So as one has led to the next, I just find that my brain has less time to think about worry or overthinking because it's just so occupied using my creative thinking uses towards my advantage. So I highly, highly suggest this for you guys. Like, what do you listen to? What do you listen to on a regular basis? I love listening to music, and I now have so little space to listen to music that I play music while I'm cooking or while I'm playing with my son. But now my driving, my commuting time, my gym time, my sauna time, I'm listening attentively to books. And guess what? listening to books for me has shifted things around, because then that will be the only time I suggest multitasking, versus when I have to sit down and read a book, which I'm also doing more of because I'm so intrigued. My brain is so intrigued. It suddenly wants to learn more. I have a book open in my living room, one going there and one in my bedside table. And yeah, I read a couple of books at a time. And what I love the most is that it's now modeling for my kid that I'm not on my phone so much, I'm on a book. It's like a win-win. Anyways, all of that to say that the more you surround yourself with powerful information, the better your brain will work. Think about it. What do you do in your downtime? That's when we worry. That's when we overthink. So find, and if you're like my sister and you listen to like mystery murder podcasts, I don't get that fascination. Okay. I don't know why so many of you are passionate about listening to horrible stories. But I imagine that instead of learning about how people get murdered, you were actually learning how to reconnect your brain, how to be more grateful, or how to, I don't know, whatever your thing is, how to learn languages more efficiently, whatever your passions are. That was my thinking, my lesson. I've also learned that socializing is so important. I know COVID took us apart and made all of our routines feel different, but 2022, because COVID sort of ended, and we were able to see people again. I was able to bring my son places and travel and meet people. Oh my God, I can honestly tell you the highlight of my year were those moments where I went into places I didn't know people and I was talking to people. Obviously, I am an extrovert. I feel great after. My energy doesn't feel drained. It feels like renewed. But even for my extrovert clients coming into our group sessions, I'm feeling a part of a community, feeling connected, because nowadays most of us are working from home. This is one of the reasons I love going to the gym, because I see people. There's other people working out. I don't feel so alone in my house working out. So socializing is so important to our human soul. Even if you're an extrovert and you think you hate socializing, you probably have people that you love hanging around with. Socializing fills our human cup to the way and the degree in which you like socializing. Okay, so as an extrovert, I obviously know it refills my cup. The more, the better. If you're an extrovert, you know that it's going to feel draining. Yet it's important that you do it. It's important that you go out and not feel alone. COVID has brought amazing blessings to our lives, and technology has helped us feel connected. But I really encourage you guys this year to go out and remind your brain of what it feels like to be surrounded by humans and talking to humans and looking at them into the eyes and like feeling awkward and feeling people's emotions because they're across from you without your phones. Real social connections. Small one-on-ones will always be my favorite, then groups, but groups are fun too. And I do a mix, and I'm like on a mission now to like really intentionally have a list of people I absolutely love to nourish as friends. And I got it on my calendar. Like, I'm going to reach out this month to my friend Steph and we're going to do something. And I'm going to reach out to my friend Sadia and we're going to do something. And I'm going to reach out to this couple. We love this couple. We're going to reach out to them and do that with them. That feels good and natural and easy and fills up my cup and probably will fill up their cup. Okay. The other lesson that 2022 had in store for me is that, oh my God, I'm going to leave that one to the last because it kind of gives my word away. Oh my God, this one I love. One of the thoughts I had this past year, which I loved having, and I will continue to have, came from a notion after I read one of the books that I was reading. The book is called Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself by Dr. Joe Dispenza. Excellent book, by the way. And it occurred to me that what if I constantly had the thought of everything can and is working. Everything can work and everything is working. I heard Tony Robbins once tell a story of this guy who is moving. And so he rented a truck, and then the truck had a trailer, and he asked his sister to stand behind the trailer while he would press on the brakes and see if it would properly connect it, like the brake light will show on the trailer. And so she's like, yeah, it's working. And he says, okay, now the turning signals. And so he turns the turning signals, and he hears his sister say, it's working, it's not working, it's working, it's not working, it's working, it's not working. And he gets off the car and says to her, it's always working. That's how the turning signals are supposed to be, on and off, work, not work. That's what it tells people, that you're turning. Otherwise, you'll be always on or always off. You won't tell people really that you're turning. And so his point was, even when it appears that something is not working, it's working. And I'm like, oh, that fits to my earlier thought about what if I was to think that things are always working. That thought, ladies and gentlemen, brought me so much joy throughout 2022. Because even when I was freaking out, thinking this isn't working, and I could bring my brain back to, what if I thought this is working? What if it's just appearing as though it wasn't working, but really it was working? That was a winning thought for me in 2022. Winning because it brought me ninja inner power. It brought me serenity. It brought me confidence. It brought me a sense of hope and relief and excitement. It kind of reconnected me to what I was doing, because I'm like, yeah, it's working. It's working. And guess what? Things worked out pretty good for me. So yeah, I feel that this is a lesson of 2022, that just one thought can be incredibly powerful. I want to pass that thought to you. Everything can and is working. Last year, Disney released a movie called Encanto, which is based on Colombian history. And it touched my heart deeply, because I am Colombian, and because truly it speaks about the conflict that essentially brought me to not being able to live in my country. And so that was very emotional for me. Like, there's a part of that movie that, thinking about it, makes me very sad. You can hear in my voice. That reminds me of the conflict that many people in my country have experienced as reality. And many families have been separated in so many terrible ways due to this conflict that my country has been in for many, many years. I was born into this conflict, and the conflict existed way before I was born. And so it's been a long-lasting civil war that's separated families, that's killed many people, and that have separated people like myself from the country itself, where you can't live in the country. And so in this movie, I was unexpected. I didn't think I was going to cry thinking about it, even though I still cry every time the song plays. The part of the movie that I'm talking about, I'm not going to ruin it for you in case you have seen it, but there's a separation that happens, and it just brings so much emotion to my heart. And there's a beautiful song about butterflies that plays at that moment. And butterflies always find their way, butterflies transform and they find their way. And I think that's beautiful. So all of that to say that in this beautiful movie, there's a very powerful message. And the powerful message is that we all have a gift. And when you are thinking you're giftless, you're not serving your community or yourself. But when you realize that the gift that you have, it's you, you stop pursuing getting somewhere, having something, being who you're not. But you land into this beautiful place of authenticity where you realize that you are the gift. And I had glimpses all of 22 of feeling like I am it. I'm the gift. I'm the gift, which has been humbling, beautiful. And I've also noticed the intensity in which I want to reject being the gift, which I'm sure you guys would experience too. What is your first reaction when you think of I am it? When I ask you what's your gift, and you think, oh, my gift is I'm great with music, you're it. But when you don't think I'm not great with music, I'm not an artist, I'm not a genius, what's my gift? When you're in that doubt of gift, you're missing the gift that all along has been there, and it is you. That movie brought it forward for me. And I think I've given the example of these movies several times, even in the past few episodes. I brought the example of the movie to speeches I gave in 2022, and I have certainly allowed my heart to feel that emotion that it feels like, to embrace me being the gift, you being the gift, you for yourself. Like, it's easy when somebody says you are the gift in my life. It feels so great. It feels even better when you recognize you are it. You're the gift. You need to make more money, get recognized, get married. None of that when you recognize you're the gift. If you do get all those things, it's going to come to you like, of course, of course, this is all happening to me. Because I am such a beautiful gift to this planet, to my family, to my community. So thanks to those who took 5 years to come up with the movie Encanto. You have done a great job. And I hope for every child and every human to see that movie and hopefully be reminded that they are the gift. Okay, this leads me nicely into my last lesson that I want to share with you. That would also give away my word. So as I was contemplating being the gift, like, everything is within me. I am it. And I'm just enhancing through coaching. I enhance parts of my brain. I enhance my thinking abilities. I enhance my skills, mastering skills. I started to be very congruent with what I wanted in my heart and what I was attracting into my life. And I started manifesting things. I'm freaking out as I was manifesting them. I'm like, I want to help a lot of people. And then a lot of people showed up to my detox the mind. And then I was like, whoa, there must have been a mistake. They must have not have meant to be here. And it occurred to me, I became aware that I was being a little allergic to success. I was capping my success with my own thoughts. So here's the lesson. I am as successful as my thoughts are clear. In other words, if my thoughts are clear, if my mind is clean, that would determine how successful I can be. If my thoughts are in the weeds, I'm unclear in my mind, my success will also be unclear. And once you set, you guys, your mind to succeed, and you feel the resistance and you sabotage it even, that means the brain got toxic, unclear, clutter, and therefore your success tanked. There was a cap to your success. But the more clear your mind is, the more clean your thoughts are, the greater success you will achieve. This is true if what you want to achieve success in is relationships, in your love life, in your intimacy. This is true if where you want success is in your communication skills, in your finances, in your career. The more clean and clear your thoughts are about you, what you think of your goal, whether or not you're able to have thoughts that empower you, that take you there, that the thought takes you there to the goal, the more success you will have. Your success will be capped by the thoughts you have. That is it. Since this became very evident to me, and when you guys choose your word for the year, you should feel a certain level of discomfort, like when you're investing in yourself. And when I said the word, I was like, ooh, I don't know. There's this passion towards the word, but there's also this discomfort. My word of 2023 is success. I want to stand in the knowledge that I am the gift, that I can have all the thoughts that will work for my success. And I want to embrace the belief that my success is inevitable. And I am going to be as congruent as I can possibly be with my thoughts, with my words, and my heart. Because if I succeed, we all win. I stand before you here today on January 2nd, 2023, to tell you that I am going to break away from this allergy that I've got to succeeding. And I'm going to push myself to succeed as much as I can possibly succeed in all areas of my life in this particular year. Because I want to retrain my brain from thinking, that's enough. You don't need any more. That's uncomfortable now. To thinking, I'm going to clean my mind as much as I need to allow myself to embrace and receive as much as I can. Because the more mental clarity I get, the more mental clarity I can pass on. The more health I get, the healthier I'll be to show up to the people I love, to the people I coach, to all of you. The more wealth I achieve, the more wealth I'm going to be able to give, the more generous I'll be able to be. The more love I can receive and give, the more I'll be able to show to the world that's possible, that love is powerful. The more I will be as an example of love. The more mental calmness I can get to, the more calmness I'm going to be able to give, to embrace, to be an example of. And I can go on like this with every aspect of my life. The more successful I can be as a mom in my parenting role, the greater of a man I'm raising. The greater of a man I'm raising, the better of a father I am creating, a community member, a citizen. The better citizen I raise, the better this community will become. And so, as you can see, when you think to yourself, the more successful I am, the better it is for everybody else. The waves of benefits far surplus you. You're just the catalyst, the instigator. But when you decide this year, this day, make it about today, you're going to decide on your word. And I want you to think of it the way I thought of my word. Well, it makes me a little bit uncomfortable. Where am I capping myself? And how can I push myself? And what would happen if I do push myself? Who else will benefit? In what ways? Write it all down, guys. Choose one word that determines what your main intention for 2023 is. Write down your lessons of last year. Share them with somebody else. Let somebody gain from your experiences, because it will be helpful to them, as I hope it was helpful to you to hear mine. And write your words somewhere. And remind yourself throughout the year, throughout the weeks. I like to use my word in all areas of my life. So I say, okay, how can I be successful in my marriage? How can I be successful in my health? How can I be successful in my mental health? How can I be successful as a mom, as a business owner, as a coach, as a friend, as a sister? I obviously target the ones that I feel I am most resistant towards. But this is the work that I do all year. You're being coached by me. I remind you of your word all year. How is it going? How is it feeling? And at the end of the year, we evaluate together. Did I live up to my word and my intention? Some people who are going to join my CEO this year, who were in it last year, are renewing their word. They're like, I'm not done with this work. I need another year with this word. So your word can be acceptance, can be love, can be abundance, can be success, can be peace, can be anything you want to call into your life. Just make sure you determine one. Your brain is going to tell you, oh, I've got so many. It's hard to decide. All it's doing is preventing you from choosing, deciding. So you decide, what is your word? Could be decisiveness, could be anything that you feel would be really helpful for you to work at it every day of 2023. All right, my beauties, it is so nice to be here today and share with you my lessons of 2022, or some of them anyways. I hope you found this helpful. And if you did, share this episode with somebody. And if you are thinking you're ready to CEO this year and you want me to coach you, have one-on-one sessions with me, have group sessions with other incredible women who are also choosing their word right now and who are going to say, this is my goal and I'm going to stick to it. And who are ready, if you're ready to just really be connected to your fulfilled life, your purpose, leave all excuses away, come and invest in yourself. The first thing that you have to do is book a call with me. You and I will have a conversation. I'll be able to see if you're a good fit for the program. You'll be able to see if the program feels like a good fit for you. Go over to the show notes and apply now. We get started next week. Let's do it. 2023 can be whatever you make of it, whatever you want. And you're more likely to do it with a coach by your side and a group of women who keep you accountable. So don't think about it. Worst case scenario, we just have coffee, we laugh, we high five, and you decide that this is not it for you. No problem. This is a risk-free decision. By the end of the year, if you're not happy with your results, I'll give you your money back. That's it. All right. Head over to the show notes and I hope to see you in one of those calls very soon. Talk to you guys next Monday.